It's like the fifth.
Okay, that's with Trump's tariffs back. We're seeing a shift with Canadians, especially online, where there's a big pull to support Canadian businesses and to support local. Keegan, do you want to just let us know a little bit more on how these tariffs are going to be impacting us?
Yeah, so they're basically going to make all the goods that we import from the US a lot more expensive. This is a lot of fruits, a lot of materials that we need for building, and Canadian businesses are going to need to shift to, trying to buy local, trying to keep our economy going. Kazi, what do you think are the biggest things Canadian businesses can do to get ready for this shift?
Well, some businesses are already ready, but some, or I would say many, need help with their marketing and digital reach, because many businesses, they were dependent on US market, right? So right now they need help. And I'm pretty sure Meagan can put some light on it. Meagan, do you think the consumers will prioritize local over cheaper imports from US or other countries?
Yeah, absolutely. We're definitely seeing that. Even before the tariffs came into play, Canadian businesses are wanting to, promote more locally. Locally is definitely become more of a trend. And there's definitely a lot of avenues that we can take to do that. There's services we provide from a digital marketing perspective is, reaching out to your target audience. We do have a ton of people in this country that do want to support local. It's just targeting them in a more direct way. I think there's a little bit of a misconception too that Canadian products or local products are more expensive, but when you really look at how you are purchasing and what you need, there's definitely a way to support Canadian businesses. So we look at things like, our target audience and how are we going to reach them. So you can reach them through things like social media, your ad targeting, your SEO, all of those things definitely help. Keegan, do you want to just talk a little bit more about, the type of businesses you're seeing that may be more affected by tariffs?
Yeah, well, I think there's obviously the whole Canadian economy is going to experience large effect from this. I don't think there's any businesses that are going to be, going to avoid the new increase in tariffs. It does affect, construction companies with their materials. Obviously, the oil field is the big one. The government decided to only do 10% on the oil industry, which is relatively good for right now. Obviously, all of our fruits, vegetables, things like that are going to have a significant impact. Textiles with like cotton. Texas produces a lot of the cotton we use here, so we'll see a lot more kind of people adapt to how we can, find different avenues for that stuff. I think what is going to be shocking for a lot of Canadians is how much stuff isn't made in America and is actually made in China and other places around the world, and that are not actually American businesses. I think, it's everybody, we seem like we import a lot of American goods, but we import a lot of goods from a lot of other places. But yeah, I think the main impacts are going to be in the construction industry, specifically with our building, and then obviously oil and gas. The East Coast doesn't have a pipeline to get the oil from, Alberta. So right now we're exporting it into the States. They send it over or they refine it, send it over to the East Coast, and then we import it back at a higher cost. So honestly, in my perspective, it's a really good thing for Canada to kind of be forced to, develop a sustainable, to keep ourselves sustainable. It's really good to, we need to be a little bit more self-reliant. And I think this is something that, we could have been focusing on for a long time, but it's good that it's finally going into effect. So yeah, Kazi, any other thoughts from you on that?
Well, it's not just impacting only import and export. Both sides are being affected by this, right? Because both sides of the borders decided to do tariffs on this. So one door closes, 100 other doors opens, right? So we can go on that policy, look for international markets where there is demand for Canadian products, right? So through e-commerce, we can easily do that. Businesses can use search engine optimization, digital ads, and different e-commerce solutions that we are providing for businesses. So we don't need to depend on the states anymore. Like maybe temporarily we'll have a setback, but eventually it is going to work better for Canada, because the Canadian industry is going to be strengthening through this process. And definitely like businesses like ours, like digital marketing companies in Canada, they can help local businesses, like helping them grow internationally, not just depending on the US. Like Meagan, are businesses investing enough in digital marketing in Canada, do you think?
I think there's always been a little bit of a trend too that you've made it once you've reached other markets. So sort of the goal has always been for a lot of Canadian-based businesses to expand into the U.S. market too, which can be a great strategy. But I think it's important to look at your local audience first and invest your marketing dollars there first, and then from there you can kind of scale into other markets. I think there's always opportunity, and we do see that a lot of businesses do miss the opportunity here because they're too eager to go to other countries right away. And then just to add to the point on, I think there's going to be like quite an education process for consumers, and just some advice to Canadian businesses is to, really market yourselves as a Canadian company now, because it's the trend is to support Canadian businesses. So, putting labels on your products saying Canadian made, Canadian owned, produced in Canada, that's going to go a long way. Also, get your website updated and your socials updated a little bit to, really promote yourself as a Canadian company. Keegan, can a strong online presence help Canadian brands compete?
Yeah, definitely. It helps you expand to target all different markets. Kazi, what do you think are the first steps a business should take to get online and start targeting new locations?
I would say just go digital, get a website, invest in SEO, and build a brand. Then we can go international.